Hi everyone, it's Raleigh, and today I'm planning my Hobonichi Cousin for the week of February the 23rd. And this week I'm going to be using, of course, from Coffee Monster Co., this little washi set, which is a kind of coffee and pastries and bread set. Got a lot of really nice beiges and browns. I'd actually intended to do a bit of a different theme for this week, but I looked ahead to next week because next week is the first full week of March, so I'll use the kind of monthly kit for that, and it's a lot of sort of brighter colors, so I thought this time I'll use this one. And I'm going to start just by covering up the top here, and I love these little coordinating washi sets because, yeah, it makes it easy to put a page together and have it look good. So I'm just going to cover this up. I think that the style of it will be kind of like what I did last week with just some colors and marker. I was on vacation last week and I had a really nice staycation. I spent several days doing things with my parents. I saw one of my best friends. I fortunately didn't see the other, but hopefully we'll figure that out soon. There we go. Yeah, because I think I'm just going to write in the days of the week myself, and I think maybe I'll use just debating. So I've got the thicker washi. Probably should have thought this out before I started actually doing it, but here we are. And it is Tuesday today, Tuesday morning. So I didn't, despite the fact that, I had the week and the weekend. Yeah, I think I'll use a little bit of this up top. And then I'll use another bit to kind of in the middle here just to give myself a little separate area on the bottom. But yeah, last week was great though. It was really a mix of days out and about and seeing people alternating with a couple of home days. Although during the home days, I did virtually nothing. Although, that doesn't sound too nice. I just let myself relax and I read a bit and watched some shows and yeah, I did some work in my traveler's notes, which is where I do a little more sort of planning and mapping things out and just some time thinking. So it's funny if someone had said at the beginning during the week that I wouldn't have gotten as much done, maybe around home or a few other things, I would have been disappointed. But honestly, it just felt really good. And I just sort of let myself relax and save my energy and enjoy my time with family and friends. And yeah, I think I'm going to use the brown to separate. Ooh, okay. Could have done that a little better. Yeah, I think I'm going to use the brown to separate it instead of the black, just to soften it a little bit. But yeah, it ended up being a really good week. I think mentally just being able to decompress and remove the work elements of things, which, and I know I say this often, I do really enjoy my job, but there's been some tensions lately and I have anxiety around it. So it's like there's always this little layer of, anxiety with work now. So it was nice to sort of put that away and let myself decompress. And of course, like a lot of things, after stepping away for a bit, you sort of get some distance and some perspective. And so I think this time I am just going to go ahead and write these in. But yeah, I did do some work in my traveler's notebooks. I'm also, something I think I mentioned in the previous video was something that I like is the idea of sort of setting aside a day for certain things. And so that's what I'm going to try and implement a little bit this week. But this one will be a little more straightforward. So get these down. All right, so I've got all the days of the week set and okay. So I think I'm just gonna write. I'm gonna try and stay away from stickers a little bit more. So I'm just gonna write work because I am actually off tomorrow, Wednesday. I took a wellness day at work, which is, again, a great benefit of where I work, that every now and then you just kind of need a day. And I have an appointment to go to, and then hopefully I'll take my parents to see one of their friends as well, who, of course, I want to see. I've known him pretty well all my life. And that's what's been nice just about the past few weeks, after the start of the year where, I was largely, just working, but because of weather and, I wasn't really getting out as much. But in the last few weeks, I've done a lot more of that, which I really enjoy. And my work does have some flexibility. So often if I have an appointment in the morning, I can just make up the time. But something at the beginning of the year, I realized that that may not always be best. So now if I have appointments, I'll kind of take the day, and then I don't feel like I'm rushing as much. And then I can do things like, combine my appointment day tomorrow along with doing something with my parents. And yeah, I'll just put that. I think it just needed a little bit of color. Okay, I think that this is looking good. Let's see. Yeah, I really like the kind of pastry theme and the coffee, and I love the little scarves on the guys. So let's see if I can use a few of these other little bits and pieces. And on my list is to do another order. I actually haven't done an order this year, I don't think. So I think in March I will do that. One of the things I have been doing is trying to keep lists of things I want to buy, and sort of ideally kind of alternate. So I've been actually, something that's worked really well, in the past, few weeks, is when I'm thinking about buying something, I do stop. I put it on a list and often realize it's not something that I need immediately. And, when I look back at the list, of course, there's some things that, I would have maybe bought in the moment, but because I'm doing this, it gets me to pause. And so probably about half the things I will not end up buying. But it's good. Even though in the moment it's very tempting, and occasionally I especially if I'm out in person, I might get something I wasn't intending, but it's been good to be more mindful of that. And so March is a month where I'll sort of pick a few things for myself to buy. Also, my birthday is going to be in April. So the other thing I thought of is, occasionally people ask me for ideas of what to get. So I thought rather than just going and getting everything, I will see if maybe there's a couple of things some family and friends might want to get me. Yeah, and so I did put admin day and home day because I am kind of working with this idea of having a kind of dedicated day for things. So Thursdays are good for admin because that's when I get paid. So I'm usually going in to do that anyway, update my bills, pay bills. I have a new ledger I'm working on. So I'll kind of combine that. So that's more administrative things I want to do. And then with Tuesdays being more home day, with the goal being that each Tuesday I will do something beyond just sort of regular work that I'm doing, but pick something a little more specific, a task. And again, all the details of those things are in my traveler's notebooks. And I'll just put some notes about tomorrow. So I'll use the beige if I'm going to be out. And then I think I'll just use the little beige kind of squares for specific tasks. Yeah, it definitely feels like the last few weeks it's been a bit of a turn in the corner. I think just from the usual kind of winter mood that you can get in and feel a bit less motivated. So overall, things are going well. So I'll just get these in. All right, so I just filled in some to-dos or some things to do specific days, and then also just a more general to-do list on the left. Now, as for the bottom, there's a couple things. I think I can list my cat Winona is still on some medication, although that was also good news and kind of a lesson in, I do have a habit of sort of avoiding things in anticipation of them being catastrophes. So my cat Winona, she's had some issues for a while, nothing severe. But I did take her in for her annual, and I have a wonderful vet that I've been going to for like 20 some years. And so she had two kind of, more minor issues, but I took her and she's on some medication and I'm already seeing improvements, which is great. So again, a lesson in just do it. Because honestly, for a few weeks, I'd been sort of wondering and I think worrying without realizing how much about what could be going wrong. And it turned out it was something a little bit not as serious, which is good. But I do want to track because I do want to keep her on her meds to get this all cleared up. So there's AM and PM. Okay. And I might as well use this space for something else. What's something else I want to be mindful of this week? Oh, I think self-care. That's the other thing I've been needing to kind of remind myself about. And it's simple things like sleeping. It's something else I noticed. I mean, I just function so much better when I do get a proper sleep. I think everyone does, but for me, I especially feel it. And that was the one thing last week. I had a couple nights where I wasn't. I'm not sure if it was just sort of my mind kind of finally having a chance to filter through a bunch of things. But I'll just put a couple things down here just to sort of be mindful of. And then maybe on the other side, just because I need some balance, I'll maybe put some stuff around planning. But I'd also been looking at my previous Hobonichi for something, and I saw one of the layouts I did I really liked that was a little more detailed, so I think I'm going to do that one next week. Okay, so I just added the sections at the bottom, and yeah, I think this is looking good. It's very simple, but it will kind of remind me of things that I want to be conscious of, give me a place to actually document and track what I intend to do. And I think a good stepping stone to next week's setup. And yeah, I'd forgotten that next week actually is March. So I usually try and use the monthly kit for that month for the first week. So I will definitely be using that. And I took a peek to check the colors and it's all nice bright colors. So I think I am going to do a little more detailed one next week, but I like the way this looks. And yeah, I put a couple little coffee stickers, one, well, to cover a bit of the smudge I did. But yeah, I think this is looking good. And I'm really looking forward to March, although I can't believe it's almost here. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of how this one's been going this year. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed the video. I hope you're enjoying your planning, and I will see you soon.